A guten Chodesh, Rabboisai. Eli, tell me if that's a... Check it out. It's good. Okay, Rabbi Yisrael, thank you. We have a very busy day. A very, very interesting daf. If you're one of those that is a little sensitive with children, etc., Dai l'chakima beremiza. Today's shir, Li'ilu Nishmas, Imi Merosi Rusbas Mordechai, sponsored anonymously by Kalman of Five Towns. And we'll see there's a new, brand new, because it's Rosh Chodesh, we have brand new turning of the daf sponsors. One of them is Kalman. But in addition to that, he's sponsoring today Rosh Chodesh in the schos of Menachem Mendel Yitzchak, Refuah Shlema 4. Isaac ben Esther Yita Miriam Batsar, something like that. There's something Simcha. Oh, Simcha ben Isaac ben Isaac Esther Yita. Okay, whatever. Akash Baruch knows who needs refuah here. Yitzchak, aka Billy, is now part of the Chabura. So welcome, Billy, Rabbi Yitzchak. Sponsored from official catering in honor of Miss Sarah Lee Gross, aka Miss Fischel, on her. Listen to this, Rabbi says it's a big problem. It's not a problem, it's actually something very special. If you were born on the 30th day of Cheshvan, so you live a lot longer sometimes because you don't really have a birthday. You had a baby? Rabbi Yisrael, you had a baby on the 30th of Cheshvan? Something like that. Okay. On her real celebrated birthday, her real birthday is 30th. It doesn't always happen. A great way to stay young by your family. And if the daf had a ladies' auxiliary, from your friends at official caterers, by the Seltzer family, not Nachman. I'm assuming this is Mordechai and Nehemiah, I think. In honor of our dear brother Yitzchak Meir ben Lev Halevi. It's like Meir ben Lev. The yard said it was Lam Cheshvan again, so no yard site this year. So there's a machlokes commemorating 10 years of his passing. His neshama have an aliyah. This also explains why the fal. I guess I don't know, but this is why Mata Steinberg is sponsoring again today. For my brother's first yard site, Rabbi Yechmiel Steinberg, or Rabbi Yechmiel Yosef Rachmim ben Aaron Simcha Zeichet Tzadik Kosher. I want to read to you this email. It was very emotional when I read it. Here's Mata Steinberg with our good friend Yeshua Aaron Price. Great guy, mamish Shmaki guy. I got to see his speech that he gave in Muncie. Muncie's beautiful speech. So real quickly, it's very, very long. Let me see what I could do here. It's the first yard side of my brother. His machlokes, what the yard side is. His entire life story is incredible. I want to focus on the area that made a huge impact on me and ultimately led me to you. I hope I don't get choked up here. I'm already doing this. My brother's diagnosed Yana Machla 17 years ago. I was told many times during the Tkufa, 6 months to live. The Kitzer, he said he's ready when the Rebbeinu Shalom wants me. Even before he got sick, he would only sleep 5 hours, even though it was detrimental to his health. His wife made him go to sleep. He was a Rebbe teaching science and a Rebbe, and he was a member of Atzal in Los Angeles. He's a chaplain. He was always learning and studying. The Kitzer, when he was nifter, he was working on something else. He was very depressed, Matis, when he was nifter, needless to say. And then the Siyam Shas happened. Kitzer, he had charata, he didn't do it last time. A whole long maisa here. The bottom line is, Matis got, as a Yerusha from his brother, a Shas. He accepted upon himself that he's going to learn Shas. Right. Kitzer is cleaning up, we got to go. This is a very long one. It's a beautiful email. I cried when I read it. I don't want to cry now. Somebody told him about the 8-minute daf. He says, oh, I can do 8 minutes. 8 minutes I have. One thing led to another. Then he started learning the 42-minute daf. I wanted to thank you with my full heart, and unbeknownst to you, you saved my life. You saved my life. I've laughed, learned, and cried with you. There were times in the beginning when you reminded me of the song Little Kite by A.B. Rottenberg, where I've wondered, does Eli even know me? Okay, Rabbi, I got to get it together here. Well, I'm sure you must know by now that you have reignited many sparks all over the world. Best thing that happened to me this year is I'm no longer, listen to this, Rabbi say, I'm no longer embarrassed to walk by my Svarim shank. I'm sure my brother is proud of me for doing something productive and taking good care of his shas. May my brother be a Melitz Yosher for God's Klal Yisrael. All right. The Nishmas, Rav Yerachmiel Yosef Rachman ben Aaron Simcha Matis Steinberg. Once again, here's Matis. Yishkoyach Matis, beautiful email. Wow. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Today is Daf Kuf. Rabbi says Rosh Chodesh. Daf Kuf. Daf 100. Also, sad news. Our good friends, the what's his name? Michael and Stephen from Stockholm. Our good friends from Stockholm. What's his name? I missed it. Trying. Okay. So their mother and wife from Nifter, both of them watched the shir. Our representative from Sweden, he no longer lives in Sweden. He lives in Leeds now. They both live in Leeds. Anyways, says the Mishnah. Brand new Mishnah, Daf Tzadik Tes Amud Beis. Ilon shahoya mesach ala aretz. You have a tree that covers the ground, like one of those willow trees. And inside the tree you have 10 tfachim. So here's the picture from Yoni. You have 10 tfachim underneath. If the willow tree, let's say, the branches come within 3 tfachim, then you could apply lavud. And I have a nice room inside, a nice cutout. Look at that. You could carry underneath it. What if you have a tree that its roots are more than 3 tfachim above the ground? Then it's a regular tree. Look at this guy sitting on it. If the root is very tall, you can't sit on it. What's the difference between that and a tree? Great. Now we learned if you have a makoim mukaf ledira, you have a karfaf, and it's surrounded with walls, so it could be larger than 2 sa, mukaf ledira. So why is it if you even planted this tree for a dira, you want to reside underneath the tree, that's going to be a new house? You're limited to 2 sa to 5,000 square amma. Why? My time. Because people, these people that are watching the fields, they need it for outside of the tree. They're not using it for inside the tree. They need it for protecting the fields outside. That's called natashmisha for inside. Any residence that's set up for the outside, not for the inside, I'm thinking that's basically all the houses in Borough Park are built for that. No, I'm just kidding. Shai, you get my point. There are people that build things for other people, for the outside. So the other people say, wow, chashav, look at it. But anyway, Borough Park, not so much. Other places. Sharashav gvoy min haaretz, itmar. Sharshe ilon abayim milamalo, mishloisha l'tech shloisha. So you have a beautiful machloikis here, a beautiful shaila. You have a root that leaves the 3 tfachim. We said that if it's within 3 tfachim, you could sit on the root. What if the root actually goes above 3 and then goes back down? Rabba Omar mutar l'shtamish bahen, Rav Sheshis Omar osur l'shtamish bahen. Machloikis, Rabba and Rav Sheshis. Rabba Omar mutar l'shtamish bahen. Dich kol pachas min shloisha da'ara arahi. At the end of the day, we're talking about using the part of the root that's within 3. The part that's above 3, no shaila is asur. So let's say it's this picture right over here. If this coloration bothers you, so just look at the original. Anything under 3 is green is mutar. Anything above this dotted line, which is 3 tfachim, is red and it's asur to sit on. What about when it takes a nice 90-degree dip back down to the ground? It's green and red because we have a machlokes if you could use that part. What's the shaila? At the end of the day, this part is within 3 tfachim of the ground. Why can't I use it? but it comes, it emanates. What's its source? Its source is a bad source. Its source is above 3 tvachim. Its mother branch is above 3. So maybe it has halacha of above 3, and Mela it should be asur. That's the machlokes here. Comes from a place that's also asurin, says the Gemara. So very simple halachas here. The damu. Let's show you in the picture how it works. If you have a root, and the Gemara is going to tell us 3 parts of the root. The green is below 3 tvachim, is great. In other words, it's not coming out of within the root, as we discussed. We're just being mechazik what we just said. A root that comes out of another root within 3 tvachim, 100% you can sit on. Above 3 tvachim, 100% is asur. If it starts above 3 and goes down below 3, machlokes Rabbi and Rav Sheshes, that's what we just discussed. The damukum shunisa, if it seems like mountains, it looks like, the smaller ones and there's pieces coming out of the mountain. This if it comes above, if it's above 3, asur. Then after, let that tell you if it's below 3, sharu. If it's like in between, it started above and dips down below. Look, the Rabbi Rav Sheshes. Says the Gemara, interesting halacha v'chein nigra v'chein keren zavas. What's going on here? You have a charitz, how do you say that in English? Some sort of it's not a river. It's basically to bring water into the field. It doesn't have to have water like this picture. Lamashana, there's a tree smack in the middle. Now what's happening here? There's a branch right over here. And if you look at these arrows that I added here, you can see that from the branch to the grass is less than 3 tvachim. But from the branch to the bottom of the tree, which is in a hole, in a ditch, ditch, that's the word I was looking for. No, not necessary on the group anymore. From the bottom of the branch to the ditch, you have 10 tvachim. So what is this branch exactly? Is this branch considered 3 tvachim or 10 tvachim? What do we look at? Now what's interesting about this particular case is that you have walls, so to speak, on both sides. But on 2 sides, you don't have anything. You have the ditch. It's open. 1, 2. You have a second case called a keren zavas. By the way, this is the final picture in the Sefer Kol Halashon on Masechet Eruvin. I love the Sefer. It helped everybody. 100 daf. So I want to say goodbye to Kol Halashon and thank him for spending almost $1 million on creating this beautiful Sefer. So thank you. This is the final picture. You have a tree in the corner. Very interesting case, because the tree is surrounded by 3 of the walls of the tree. In the art school, it's a very bad, well, not bad, but it depicts it a little bit better. In other words, you see that the tree is being choked by the wall. I couldn't even print it. It's not printable stuff. But I have rishos, but it just wasn't something I could blow up. So over here, you see the tree. So where does the tree start? On top of the wall. And it's less than 3 tvachim, or I go down to the bottom, and it's more than 3 tvachim, maybe I can't use this part of the tree. So the shaila is this part of the tree right here that's within 3 tvachim. Do I say it starts from the wall? And we're going to get a much better picture in a second, another case. But here's the shaila here, because the tree, if the tree was moved to the center, no shaila that it starts from the bottom. But because the wall is all around this tree, so maybe the tree starts growing from the top of the wall. I don't care. Maybe this is the root of the tree. You see, I could view this as the root of the tree. Fine. Says the Gemara, Shaila. Look at this beautiful picture of Boisan. This is, I don't know, in Los Angeles, let's say. You see what's going on here? A guy built, I think it's really cool actually. He built his porch all the way around these trees. Now, if I'm standing on this top porch here, do I get 3 tvachim, the bottom 3 tvachim? Or no, the tree goes 40 feet below me. You see the shaila? It's a beautiful shaila here. But the Gemara asks it a little different. It says the Gemara, so this is slightly different. Here's a picture from the Mesifta, from the Izvah Hadar. The tree is popping out of the house. I don't know if you guys recall in Flatbush, there still is the Landau Minion, the Minion factory. So when they were building the building, they moved across the street. But there was a guy, they let us use the backyard, and they built like a shul around in the backyard, but there's a tree smack in the middle. Kids, there's a tree in the middle of the Bismedrash. It was a temporary shul. So that's what's going on here. There's walls surrounding it. That's a little different than the picture in Los Angeles, because over here you have a wall surrounding. It comes out of the skylight. Also, the Rav Yosef, who does Abaye go to? To his Rebbe, Rav Yosef. The Rav Yosef, remember, he used to forget his learning. Abaye reminds him the learning. V'sharalei. And Rav Yosef said this is 100% mutter. So who does that go according to? If you had to think about it, between the Machlokes Rabba and Rav Sheshes, it's basically the same idea that we learned until now. The Sharalach, because he allowed this, Kirabba Sharalach. He allowed it like Rabba. That we don't care about where it emanates from. It comes from a Mokim Aser. No, I view it from here on. Here, look, from my roof. What happened was, maybe I didn't explain it completely, they're standing on the roof. So compared to the roof, or like on that porch in Los Angeles, the tree is only 3 tvachim right over there. Or no, do I go down into the house and there's a massive tree that comes out of the floor over there? Says Gemara Pshita, of course it's Rabba and not Rav Sheshes. Mal the same afilu Rav Sheshes basic the malidami. Maybe this is a new case because halachically we had it even in this Masechta that we could fill up this whole room halachically, pretend that there's dirt in it all the way to the ceiling. So maybe in fact the tree does start growing right from the rooftop. Maybe even Rav Sheshes will agree that you could use it within 3 tefachim of this roof. Kamash Malon Rav Sheshes argues in this case as well. Kanan. If the roots are 3 tefachim above the ground, you shouldn't sit on them. In our Mishnah, if the branches don't go back down into the ground, pshita. You have a little tree. Any tree, who cares? Root, not. This is a tree, more than 3. By the way, what is the problem to use a tree on Shabbos? That you might come to cut the tree. You might come to cut a branch. It's talking about that the root takes a nice little turn, goes back into the ground. Loi. That's not pshat. Loi lam the hadri kaifi. So you ask me, if it doesn't go back into the ground, what's the chiddush? You have a nice branch. So, I don't know if you can see this well. I try to do my best here. But basically you have a branch sticking out. Right down here below this 3 tefachim. But the branch continues vertically, very, very nicely and straight and hits the ground. So right over here, it's green. The branch turns green because it's not 3 tefachim above the ground. So I'm allowed to use this part of the branch. But this branch over here, there's a gap between it and the ground. In other words, if somebody dug it out or whatever the reason is, there's a gap. That this part of the branch is also, that's the chiddush. So we're talking about a straight, horizontal branch, very straight, but part of it has more than 3 tefachim, part of it not, and that's the chiddush. Same idea. You have a branch that's 3 tefachim, or there's a little bit dug out underneath it. Even though one end is equal with the ground, you're not allowed to sit on this branch. You're not allowed to climb a tree. Don't do any exercise, pull-ups on chin-ups on a tree. And you don't even lean on a tree. Don't go up a tree on Friday, and you'll sit there on Shabbos. So it's not about climbing the tree, it's using the tree. You're not allowed to use the tree on Shabbos. And this applies to a tree. So don't climb onto the horse before Shabbos and say, oh, I'm on it already. Since the isser of a tree is not the climbing, it's not the exertion, it's not that you're expending yourself, you're doing something difficult on Shabbos. The problem is you might come to break a branch on Shabbos. That issue you don't have with a pit. So you could climb into a pit. You could exert yourself. It's not a problem. Or a fence. Mitap is vital. You could climb a fence on Shabbos. Mitap is v'yored. Climb as much as you want. There's no isser to climb on Shabbos. This is to climb a tree on Shabbos. Tani chada. Machlokes. Im Allah mutaleirid. What if you did climb on Shabbos? Mutaleirid. Tani chada. Also leirid. And another time it says that you're not allowed to come down. Very interesting sugya today. We have a number of times that the Gemara gives us different variety of answers. You can go different ways if you feel like it. I can answer the contradiction in 2 ways. If he went on before Shabbos, come down. If he went on Shabbos, don't come down. They're both happening on Shabbos itself. I climbed up the tree without knowing I was climbing up a tree. However it happened. It was next to my porch. I didn't realize. I was sleepwalking. Whatever it is, it was a shaygig. You can come down. Mezid, don't come down. Both happened by mistake. Do we give this guy a special penalty and say, even though it was not your fault, we have to be concerned it might happen again, b'mezid, so therefore don't come down. Mar sover kan sinon, umar sover loy kan sinon. Omer avonu b'reder Yeshua ketanoi. We have a machlokes. This is similar to machlokes tanoim that we have. Hani tonim b'matona achas. Going back to Zvachim, we have korbanos like a bachar, meiser, pesach that you only sprinkle the blood. You do shchita, kabbalah, hilacha, zrika. Those are the 4 avodos. So after you shecht, and it brought me back memory, we're doing a video for the siyum, and in there's literally a shchita going on. Whatever. I have to talk to Chaim, because somebody told me maybe we shouldn't show it. Chaim, yishkoich for everything. But anyway, fine. But the last thing is zrika. How much blood do you sprinkle? Some karbanos you only sprinkle 1 time. You go like that. Some karbanos you sprinkle 4, but it's not really 4. It's shnayim shem arba. You hit the corners, 2 corners, the opposite corners, and it hits the 2 walls at a time. Now what happens, the Gemara is going to tell us what happens if the bloods mix in with each other. And these are mamish shas sugis. You could take these concepts for all of shas. Let's say the blood of Meiser got mixed up with the blood of the Bechar. You know what's the problem? Sprinkle it once, nothing happened. Matan arba, blood of a chatos together with the blood of a oila, you go. Fine. You just sprinkle it shnaim shem arba. Rabbi Shua says no. So Rabbi Lezer oimer, sorry. Matan arba, you know to be matan. So dalit. So you do it the 4 times. Matan arba, but what happens if the blood of a carbon that requires 4 sprinkles? Rashi says, for instance, a chatos. Very, very problematic because a chatos is above the chut sikra. There's a red line around the mizbeach, and you sprinkle it in a different place than you sprinkle all the other karbanos. So it makes more sense. The other Rishonim say that it's a oila. Fine. Why Rashi said chatos is hard to understand. I think in Zvachim he actually says oila. Matan arba b'matan achas. And if you have 2 different types of blood that mixed in, one that requires 2 sprinkles, one requires 1, what do you do? Rebbe Lezer oimer yinosim b'matan arba. Rebbe Lezer says, you machmer. You go, you do the 4. 2 that are 4. Rebbe Shua oimer yinosim b'matan achas. Rebbe Shua says, no, take it easy, just 1. Beautiful chayla here. Omer Rebbe Lezer. So Rebbe Lezer tells Rebbe Shua, Harei oiver al bal tigra. What do you mean you're only going to do 1? If you do 1, then you're doing less than the Torah told you to. For the chatos, for the oila, you need 4, and you're only doing 1. Rabbi Shua tells him, what did you gain? You're supposed to do only 1, and now you're doing 2. Not true. Bal Tosef is when you are by yourself. You're only doing 1 animal. You're supposed to do this carbon. Shalom Aleichem, Dr. Mezenkis. I have to stop smacking it up. Great to see you. I missed you. I can't help myself. It's not Bidul Torah. I can't help myself. When you shechted 1 animal, Meiser, and you're supposed to do 1 zrika, and you Chacham do 2, Bal Tosef. But you have in your bowl over here an animal, a carbon that has 2 zrikas in it. So it's not about Tosef, because I have that other carbon in there. So what are you telling me? That it's usher to go less than necessary. That's only if there's 1 carbon. Over here we have 2 carbonas. You got a problem. Now listen to this. This could be a yisoid for all of life. When you took action, you did something physical with your hands. You have a shayla what to do. Did I only do 1 sprinkle or 2 sprinkles? So you went physical on me. You went and you did 2 sprinkles. That's a kum v'asei. So it's really a yisoid for life. this idea. I mean, it's a machlokes, but what happens when you don't know what to do? And your option is sit by and don't do anything, or take action. But either or, you don't know what to do. Let's say somebody comes to you for shidduchim. The Chavetz Chaim talks about it. He asks you a question, and you're not sure what the halach is. Do I say this lashon hara and save this person, or do I not say it? So it's better not to say it. Sheval taisa adif. So according to Rebbe, that says take action. So Mamela over here, take action. And there's a very good reason why you should take action. When a person is sitting in a tree, every second he's sitting in the tree is being over Isser. Isser the Rabbanon. Every minute is more and more and more. So go down the tree, which is also Isser to go down the tree, but you'll be over one Isser and not be over 100. So over there by blood, when he says, don't do anything. You don't know what to do. You don't know how much to sprinkle. Don't sprinkle more than one. Don't try to do it when you don't know. So Mela over here also, sit in the tree, wait until Shabbos is over. Don't take action. Says the Gemara Dimalahi, like every Gemara teaches us how to take two ideas and try to differentiate between them. These ideas are not similar. Why? When he sprinkles twice, he's being mekayim a mitzvah perhaps. The Torah says you should sprinkle twice, and he's sprinkling twice. The other carbon only requires one, great. But if I'm doing twice, I'm for sure being mekayim a mitzvah for that carbon. But over here we're dealing with averis upon averis. The whole thing is an avera. Going down the tree is an avera. Staying in the tree is an avera. So maybe it's very different. Maybe shouldn't do anything. Maybe should go. I don't know. Maybe, but it's different. Over here he shouldn't go down because he's mikayim an avera, not mikayim a mitzvah. Vinami, and also some sheval tasa adiv. In that case, Rabbi Shua says that it's better to just sit. Elo, we're turning to Daf Kuf Amud Beis, Deloi Ka'avadi Surah, because he's not doing anything. Over here, by him sitting in the tree, every moment that he's sitting in the tree, he's being over Isser. Perhaps he should stay, or perhaps he should go down. So today's Rosh Chodesh. It's the changing of the guards for the most part. So up until now we had sponsorship from Dr. Alan Listhouse in memory of his mother, Shendel Bat Aaron Hirsch, and Bracha, and yesterday was the last day. So her neshama should have an aliyah. But we still have a few days of the Tobias and Austin families that they dedicated for their grandmother, Zissel Bas Chaim. And Rabbi Isa, here we go. We'll try to make this less than 10 minutes. There was actually a very long email, but I didn't even print it out, and I'm happy I didn't. Kalman is going to kill me, but that's how it is. We have to keep these sponsorships to the bare minimum because we have a big oilam learning Torah, and it's not good for the neshamas when we're mivatal time for them. The Torah that is sponsored. The Nishmas Ruchama Chaya Fruma, Oleh Shalom Bas, Reb Doiv Pinchas, and Reb Yechiel Shraga ben Avram Alevi, Olav Shalom. It's sponsored anonymously. I'm going to say it only once by Yoeli. Okay, I won't say his last name, but he does live in Lakewood. I won't say it again. He's going to be upset at me. Fine. The second one, Leili Nishmas Menachem Mendel Ben Simcha, who's a Talmud Chacham, Israel warrior, Holocaust survivor, in his chos, all his grandchildren. I'm not going to say this every day, rabbis. Don't worry about it. All his grandchildren should be healthy and Torah Yidden. Blessings to my Ezer Kenegdoi. Oy, Kalman. She has. Where's the Hebrew name here? Orlean. Maybe Orlean is a Yiddish name. Without whom there's no Kalman of the 5 towns. You hear this? He gives all the credit to his wife. Beautiful. Third, sponsored by the Fine and Pearl families in the Schus, Refuah Shlema for Mindel Elka Bas Adel. All the Neshamas should have an Aliyah, all the people should have Refuah. Zok De'ele Gemara. Tani Chada. Daf Kuf Amud Beis. 2 lines down. So basically, just to sum up, there's 3 new turning of the Daf sponsors. We'll try to do it as quickly as possible. But for the next 2 days or so, there's going to be 4. Tani Chada. Echad Dilul Nach, Vechad Dilul Yavesh. Now, climbing up a dead tree Shouldn't be a problem. Why? Because even if you break a branch, it's not breaking a branch. It's not toilish. It's not kaitzer. You're not over anything. But it says in the Braisa, even you're not allowed to go up a dead tree. This one kind of makes sense. It says in the Braisa, contradiction in the Braisa, the only time you're not allowed to climb a tree, when it's nice and moist, a dry tree, a mutar. Omer Rav Yehuda lo kasha. No, a question. If it can rejuvenate itself, then it's aser. So, but the Gemara calls this kind of tree that could rejuvenate itself yavish. And if it can't rejuvenate itself, then it's mutter to go on. As the Gemara, so then it's not dry. Any tree that can rejuvenate itself, it's not dry. Elo, another pshat. Now, very interesting. We're talking about maris ha'ayin. Maris ha'ayin. What people are going to think of me? If people see me climbing a tree, they'll say, it's dry, but they'll say that you're allowed to climb a tree. Why are they going to say that? Because all the trees in my neighborhood, it's right now in America, it's fall. There's no leaves on the trees pretty soon, right? So you can't differentiate between this tree and that tree. So since you can't differentiate, don't climb that tree because people are going to mistake it and they're going to copy you. They say, look at that guy, he learns Daf Yomi every day. He's climbing trees. Now you know that it's dry, but he doesn't know that and he's going to climb a regular tree. But in the summer, that all the trees have leaves, but your tree doesn't. So they say, the reason he's climbing the tree is because it's dry. Then it's allowed. Says the Gemara, what about all the fruit? So Rashi right away avoids a big problem here. He says over here, it's not the problem that you might climb the tree and then you might grab the fruit. You might take fruit off the tree. So it's not exera. It's direct. So if people see you picking fruit off a dry tree, they're not going to differentiate, and they're going to go ahead and pick directly fruit from their regular trees. Says the Gemara, like a pear. Obviously, we're talking about a tree that doesn't have fruit. Vokad tree can say, but he could break off branches. Says the Gemara, no, bigger doida. Type of tree doesn't have these little flimsy branches. Eini v'harav iklo lafastayo v'osar bigger doida. Well, he said you can't climb up one of those trees. Oh, you know what the answer is, Rabbi Isai? This is from my good friend, Chaim Snow. Sometimes you got to take special action. If you have a bunch of Amaritzim, Rav, famous Lashon, Bika Matzah, he found the open field, V'goda b'goda, and he made a fence. Sometimes you have to make fences in halacha. These people are Amaratzim, they're not going to know how to differentiate between one tree and another, with branches, without branches, flimsy branches. All trees are also. For them only. Very interesting. This past Shabbos, I'm not a big fan of this, of kids playing ball and stuff in the park, but whatever. Sometimes it's better not to say anything. My son is very popular, Baruch Hashem, for the last, we just came back, but since the yeshiva started, every Shabbos, at least 8 Bachrim come over to the house. And they want to play ball, and one Bachar says, I don't play ball on Shabbos in the park because I'm going to cut off the grass. And my wife asked me, is that true? Is that the halacha? So I told her, Eli Eruvin daf Amud Beis. Mamish this past Shabbos. I didn't really tell her that because I didn't know the Gemara yet. But anyway, so let's see the halacha. Is there a chashash that you're going to cut the grass? Let's see what the Gemara says here. Is this Bachar right or wrong? What do you guys think? Right or wrong? I don't know. Nobody. Okay. There are times that with your feet you're sinning. How? By cutting grass with your shoes. Once again, very interesting. The Gemara is in a mood now of different, like a bunch of tirutzim. So we have a contradiction between the brises. One brise says you can walk on grass on Shabbos. You can play football on Shabbos. So I didn't say that, but the other one says not. Lo ikashi, kan belachim, kan be'evation. If the grass is dry, it's mutter. Why? Because there's no tlisha, there's no kaitzer on dry grass, right? The same miser that you have to break off a branch, you have it breaking a blade of grass. Same miser. Sometimes you see younger kids, they walk by a tree, they pull off a leaf. Aser. This is the Raisa. So if it's dry, not aser. It's already dead. It's already detached. You could say that both of the cases, both of the Brises, not a contradiction. They're both moist. But like Rashi can be moist acham, can be moist akshamim. Interesting. So Rashi over here says that the concern is the seeds within the grass. When you walk in the grass, you're spreading the seeds of the grass all over the place. That's also Zereya. So that happens in the summer, but in the winter, no more seeds, no problem. In the summer, this would be counterintuitive. You would think if a person is wearing shoes, you'd be cutting grass. Says Rashi, no. When you don't wear shoes, the grass gets tangled in your toes. Sounds gross. How about a paper cut between your toes from the grass? So you cut the grass with your toes. But if you're wearing shoes, it's nice and smooth. You're stepping, you go weiter. If you want, I'll give you another pshat. You like that paper cut? Somebody's on here saying something. Oh, it's Gary. Gary, you are on. Shalom Aleichem. How you doing? He's wearing shoes. Something in his shoe, some sort of design in the shoe that causes it to catch on, some sort of spike in the shoe. And Memela, that could cut the grass. No, it has a spike. If it's long grass, it's a problem, it's going to cut. Says the Gemara, you think it's halach l'maisa? Vayidna. And in nowadays, and if you learn Masechtas Shabbos, you know what we're talking about, the Kaim along Reb Shimon, we hold like Reb Shimon. The davar sheinim miskavin is mutter. In other words, I could drag a bench through the dirt, although it might create a groove in the ground. I'm not concerned, because it might not. Though I don't want it to. That's not my intent. So if my intent is not to, when I'm playing ball with my friends, my intent is not to cut the grass. So it's not a problem, says the Gemara. Kulu shari. However, I looked it up in Allah. It's not so simple. Here's the shaila. If you know for a fact that you're going to be playing ball for a certain amount of time, and it's 100% guaranteed that you are going to cut grass, but more of a shaila is, let's say the grass is longer. So I think what I saw was, but don't quote this halacha l'maisa at all. But don't take this Reb Shimon that lightly. If it's a situation where the grass is longer and you are most likely within a few minutes, doesn't have to be every step, but within a certain amount of time, it's guaranteed that you're going to cut the grass. So it's psikresha v'loyamos. It's going to happen. If you're going to cut the head of an animal, v'loyamos, he's not going to die. Of course, you're going to play ball. You're going to kick that ball. You're going to cut the grass. So ask your local rabbi. Says another thing from Ravasi. A person is not permitted to force himself with his wife. We're talking about marital relations. There's a pasuk referring to marital, talking about relations. You're a chayte. If you force your wife, you'll have sons that are not proper sons. Micro, where do you see this in the pasuk? Gam beloy das. Gam beloy das means no das, no consent. Without consent, nefesh loy toiv. It's referring to a son that's no good. Gam beloy das nefesh loy toiv. Zeh hakoyfe ishto ledvar mitzvah. V'atzber glayim choytei. Zeh haboyel v'shoyna. Person who repeats, he's over. Why? Because, says Rashi, he's matriach his wife. Very interesting. This is the famous concept of how do you have scharim. It's if the ish is mazriya tchila, it's a nekeva. If a isha mazriya tchila, it's a zachar. So over here, because he's boil, so she's mazriya tchila, so shoyna, for the second time, it's going to be banim scharim. Says the Gemara of Amarava, so it seems like it's a good thing repeat. Says the Gemara, loy kasha, kan ladas, kan shloi ladas. If there's no consent, then it's asur. If there's consent, then it's havil banim scharim. Omer b'shmo balachmeni, omer b'yochanan, kol isha shitevaz balil dvar mitzvah. Any woman who initiates having la banim shafilu, it's a great thing. Having la banim shafilu b'doyer shel Moshe lo hoyu k'moisam. Even in the generation of Moshe Rabbeinu, they didn't have such children. What does it mean? Give to you people that are smart. So here the key word is nevoinim. Nevoinim means people that understand davar mitach davar. You say one thing, they understand the other thing. I always say, in my business, an employee, what's a good employee? Employee that you say one thing and chaps davar mitach davar. You have two categories, maybe. People that are mamash shaitim, everything. You said 3. Does that include 2? Yes. 2 is included 3. Okay. Tomorrow. Also 1? Yes, 1. Okay. And then they make mistake. You have a person, davar mitach davar, a navain, that's top. Moshe Rabbeinu's daughter didn't have navainim. Whatever on that level. V'yiduim l'shiftechem. Usiv. V'ekach zerashi shiftechem anoshim chacham v'yiduim. It says chacham v'yiduim, v'yidu navainim lo yashkach. It doesn't say that they had navainim. She initiated, she had Yaakov come to the tent. What happened from that? She had Yisachar. And Yisachar was an Avain. So you see that the initiation creates Bina. Bina from Yisachar. Wait a minute. Doesn't fit into this. All women were cursed with 10 klalos because of Chava. So let's count them. The 2 bloods. That's 2. It's 3 women have the pressure and the tsar of bringing up children, just feeding them, diapering, all that stuff that us men have no clue. Being pregnant, zetzar ibor, nausea, or whatever it's called, being nauseous, being bitzar, the whole thing, we don't have to go through it. That's number 4. The actual giving birth, very painful. Number 5. And your taiva will be to your husband. She'll have a taiva when her husband leaves. He'll rule you. What does that mean? This is number 7, that a woman initiates in her heart. A woman has busha, so it's more of a klala over here, it says. It's a klala. So, no, sorry. Zui mida toiva benashim. That's how women are. So this is a good mida. Sorry. Zui mida toiva benashim. Says the Gemara. Ki kamrin on the ratzar tzui kamei. We're not talking about bepeh. We're talking about that she takes action, but not with her mouth. So if you look at 3 lines from the bottom of Rabbeinu Chananel, he says, "B'levishes b'gadim noim v'tikunim shel guf v'dvarim." She talks b'nichusa. Shemargim salam l'dvar mitzvah. Says the Gemara, but at the end of the day, hani shev havion. But we only listed 7, not 10. Says the Gemara, "K'asa Rav Dimi Omar atufa ka'aval u'menuda b'kol adam v'chavusha beis asur." There's 3 more. She covers her hair like an avela. She has busha to go out with her hair uncovered. As the Gemara is going to explain. If you say that she's also another people, Yunami also leyichud. Sorry. If you say that she has isr yichud, she can't be with another person. A man also has the same isr. A woman is locked in with one husband, but a man is free to marry other women. She grows her hair long like a shade. Klilis. The way she relieves herself is like a mule. We'll see in a second. V'nas is kar lebalo, and she becomes a pillow to her husband. So these are klalas. V'doch hanasheva chula. These are good things. Why are they bad? We'll learn. The animals will teach us. And the birds will teach us chachma. The way she relieves herself, she crouches. A chicken, he's mafayis his wife, and then he's boil. Real quickly. If the Torah wasn't given, we could learn all the hilchos derech eretz from the animals. What? Tznios from chatul. Namor, the cat. People said it's not a cat. It's just a cat. It's not a leopard. Okay, fine. Look it up. Savannah cat. There's a lot of tznios. The way they go to the bathroom is b'tznios. The gozam in the one ant doesn't steal from the other. Varayis miyoina, a pigeon only has one mate during its life. V'derech eretz mitarnigol. What does a chicken do? Shemefayis v'achakach boil. What does he do? Says the Gemara, Omar Rav Yehuda, Omar Rav Achiko Omar Lo. He tells his wife, Zovinalach. Listen, with his wing, the Rabbeinu Chanal says, he goes like this, and basically he's telling her, trust me, I'm going to get you a nice long coat. I know you want a frock, I'm going to get you a frock. But then afterwards, he doesn't have a frock. Omalo, and then he goes with his head, says Rashi. He goes like this. Let a cat, again, the Rabbeinu Chanal says the last few words in the Rabbeinu Chanal, let a cat come. If, I made it a little bit miscalculation. I miscalculated how much money I have in my bank account. I can't afford it right now. If I would, I promise you, I would buy you a nice frock. She falls for it every single time. If I had and I don't buy you a thing, the cat should come and rip off my karbalta. I don't know how you say it in English. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Amen. Oh, Michael Ben Chitrit from Miami is here. Wow, beautiful. Shalom Aleichem.
How are you, Rabbi?
Wow, great. How you doing? It's been a while. Mamish been a while.
I know. You know what? My schedule is crazy. The Chagim, and then my son got married. We had Sheva Brachas.
Right, I know that. But you have to learn from Yisrael Goldstein. At his wife, at his kid's wedding, he was online. What do you mean? Morning of, after. No excuses, Michael. No excuses. Now it's over. Join us every day.
No, but I was on YouTube the whole time.
Okay. That's.
I was on YouTube the whole time.
Oh, okay.
I have to deal with the Daf and the Yomi thing. I've been on YouTube.
You just
Okay.
don't want to get in trouble. That's why you came on.
I got it.
Right. Yeshua reached out to me last week and he said, "Where you been, man?" And I said, "I'll be there next week."
Oh, Yishkoach Yeshua. It's a tremendous gift to see. Also, Dr. Mazenkis, kids every day I get the geschmack. The children are coming home. They're visiting the Tati. It's gewaldic. Okay, great. It's great to see you. What's our Mac have there? Oh, Amaritz Airlines. I love it. When am I going to get Yoeli? Could you arrange some? I need an Amaritz sweatshirt. That sweatshirt was unbelievable. That should be part of the merch. Whose idea was that? Was that Avram Farkovich's idea?
I thought you were going to have a big banner behind you with that thing I sent you at 5 in the morning.
What was it?
Didn't work out.
What did you send me in the morning?
Yesterday.
I don't think I saw what you sent me. What was it? Seriously.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Gedalia, how are you?
The thing was up and what did you get today?
Who? It was good?
Yeah, it was sharp, very sharp. It's a little.
You held up the signs really well. I saw you were struggling there a little bit, but it's good. Start doing weights, you'll be fine.
I lowered it. I probably could lower it even more, but it's a good idea. Yishkoyach.
No, I need that.
Don't forget to turn it off.
I'm not.
I'll turn it off. Yeah, let me turn it off now.
Eli, you answered good news for us.
What?